And we're live. Welcome to 5 Minute Friday. I'm your host, Zach Storms. I'm coming to you live from my very cold basement right here in Edmonton. I'm with a special guest, Edmonton entrepreneur, Mr. Mike Wilson. Mike, how you doing today?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me here.
Well, it's great to have you. So, Mike, we've only got 5 minutes for the interview. So I like to do about a 1 minute warm up here. Maybe we'll tell a little fun fact that I think most people don't know about you, Mike. You and I live in the same neighborhood here in Edmonton. Isn't that right?
That's right. Good
In fact,
neighborhood.
I think the other day I was walking down the street, and as I usually do, I was talking to myself, and then someone honked at me, and I sheepishly looked around. I was like, "Oh no, did that person just see me talking to myself?" And it was Mr. Mike Wilson with a big smile waving at me. So.
No judgment.
No judgment. No judgment.
Sometimes talking to yourself on a walk is the best way to think.
That's right. I do it regularly. Okay, I've got the timer ready to go. Are you ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to hit the timer now. So, Mike, first question for the record. What is your name and job title?
Tough one. My name's Michael Wilson. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Drugbank.
Now, Mike, tell us, how did you become an entrepreneur?
Actually, back in university, I participated in this really cool program called iJam, which is like a synthetic biology competition for students. And at that point, we built a prototype product, which rapidly assembles DNA together. It's pretty cool stuff. But one of the things that really kind of planted the seed for becoming an entrepreneur, because I found it really rewarding to take some cool cutting edge science, turn it into an application, see that impact the world. And that is kind of what that general thing is something that's driven me since that point. That was when the seed was planted.
Was that at the U of A when you were a student there?
Yeah, that was at the U of A. Yeah. And then I later went on to do bioinformatics. Pardon?
Who was the professor that you worked with on the iGEM team? Do you remember?
Douglas Ridgway, I think was his name. Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't.
I have to double check. Honestly, I didn't write that down.
It's only like 10 years ago.
now it's a kind of a long time ago, so I feel like I'm gonna get the name wrong. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, my one of my good friends, Dominic Sauvageau, now a professor, also part of the iGEM team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it grew a lot since then.
Yeah. Very cool program. So, okay, so let's move on to Drugbank. So what does Drugbank do?
So Drugbank provides a queryable data platform. It enables easy access to comprehensive, high quality, up-to-date information about drugs. Hence the name Drugbank. And so basically pharma companies, clinical software companies integrate our platform into their software and their research workflows. We have APIs and interfaces, different ways for them to do that depending on the use case. And then our products are enabling them to have more rapid innovation in drug discovery, drug development, precision medicine. And we also do the same thing for a lot of academic researchers across the world.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a researcher at Yale University, and I mentioned Drugbank, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we use that all the time." So pretty cool to hear that response from academic researchers. They're like, "Yeah, we're always going on Drugbank to check things out." So,
it's really cool. It's
cool.
Amazing how much impact we have on that world.
Yeah, and a lot of your customers are like big name pharmaceutical companies, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we have more than half of the top 20 pharmaceutical companies as customers now.
Wow, that is quite an accomplishment. Well, that kind of leads us to our next question, Mike, which is, what's happened in the last 2 years since we saw you as the winner of the inaugural Startup TNT Investment Summit back on 2/20/2020?
Yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind couple of years. We obviously, so that was our first fundraising round, and we grew substantially since then. We grew, during COVID, we were able to, basically, I think it was more than triple the size of the team. So we're getting close to 45 people now, I think. We close to doubled our customer base. We have more than half of the top 20 pharma companies now. So we've grown very substantially since then, and built out our sales team, built out our marketing, ramped up a whole bunch of things within the company. And it's been a really exciting couple of years. We accomplished a lot. And and we're just continuing to ramp things up now as well. So,
well, Mike, tell us, I'm curious for companies like yourselves that are growing fast. You guys have won a bunch of awards for top quality place to work, top quality company culture. You won the YEG Startup Community Awards for best place to work. You've won some other awards. What's your secret for maintaining company culture as you're scaling rapidly?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of learning curves. I mean, it was a big challenge also with obviously going remote, and that kind of forced us to be really intentional about a lot of things that we're doing. But we've always seen culture as a really, really important thing, and we've just put a big emphasis on it and just put a lot of effort into it. I mean, there's a lot more specific details to talk about it, but we've always considered it important. And the type of company we are, a software company, we're not buying real estate or something. Everything we do as a company is because of the people in the company, and our goal has always been to build a place where people can really be empowered, understand the impact they're having on the company, and understand the impact they're having on the world, and then make it a place where you feel like the work you're doing is rewarding, and then you want to do your best work, you want to contribute to that environment for your colleagues, etc. So that's what a lot of it boils down to. But
A
it's
core
easier
philosophy.
said it's easier said it's easy to say, oh, make a great culture, but it's like, we had a lot of experiments that failed and stuff along the way too, different things we've tried, and we also have the goal of continuous improvement, so we're always trying to improve, never settle for the status quo. There's always something we could do better.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, let me turn our attention to, well, first of all, I'm going to remind the audience we're actually over 5 minutes now. But you know what, Mike, this is an awesome conversation. I'm not cutting off at 5 minutes. The producers can cut us off at 5 minutes, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to go to bat for you right now, Mike. We're going longer than 5 minutes. Tell us about your experience at First Investment Summit. How was your experience there? I know that was around like the first time you were formally raising capital.
Yeah.
How'd that kind of fit into the whole process back then?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. We basically, the timing worked out really well. We wanted to do a round, and so Startup TNT was kind of a great event for us to get the ball rolling as well on that round. And we had yeah, it was a great experience. We got to, one, it's a really cool initiative because it brings together a lot of community members, and it's also a lot of fun. And sometimes certain parts of fundraising are more stressful than fun. So that was kind of a cool element of the Startup TNT experience. And yeah, we thought it was worth a shot. And obviously it worked out well for us, but we went into it. We didn't know for sure what to expect because it was the first one. We didn't know, are we the right fit for this for sure? We weren't 100% sure, but obviously we're really glad that we did it. So.
And tell us a little bit more about your approach to fundraising. I know that at that time you raised from some pretty well-respected local investors here in Alberta, but you also closed some US-based VCs. How'd you build those relationships? How'd you approach that?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. I mean, at that time, we were also looking for basically the early stage investors. So there's a lot of angels in around, and then some earlier stage investors, just from where the company was at the time. We went into CDL, also the Creative Destruction Lab. That helped us really ramp up our network. We met a lot of angel investors through that network. They introduce you to others, etc. So that was part of it. And then just the community within Edmonton, like Startup TNT, Startup Edmonton, we'd also built up a bit of a network that way. And so we had a head start on the kind of network building as well.
That's great feedback. Listen, I got two more questions I want to ask that I think we can squeeze in. What is the one piece of advice you might give an entrepreneur sitting at home right now thinking to themselves, I would love to have an awesome startup company like Drugbank one day in the near future?
Yeah. The key thing at the start is always talking to a lot of customers for sure, and making sure you're validating things, making sure that you're kind of questioning some of your own assumptions and trying to prove that out by proving it with customers ultimately is the best way. And a lot of the time you can prove that with customers without building too much, spending too much time coding, etc. So you always have to kind of fight the urge to lock yourself in your room and just code away, which that's even harder maybe during lockdown days and stuff like that. So basically take as many customers as you think you should talk to and times that by 3 or 5 or something to try to really get out there, right?
That's
the more insight
great
you can
feedback.
get, the better.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is it doesn't always happen on the first try, right? Mike, didn't you kind of
That's
bounce
right.
around a few different startup ideas before you landed on Drugbank?
Yeah, we started with a different thing, and with Craig and I, and I mean, it was a really good learning experience. I mean, that's an example where we overcame a lot of challenges. We learned a lot. So it wasn't, I think it's very common where you kind of go trial by fire. You try different ideas. Some of them work, some of them don't. But in any case, you're always learning from those experiences too. So if you have something left in you to go try another one, then it can be a really valuable experience. It's kind of like, getting, the hands-on experience is always the most valuable type of experience, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, Mike, final question. Let's look to the future. What impact would you like to see Drugbank have on the world?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately our goal is to enable everyone to have access to the best possible medicine. So that means, at every level of medicine, because we solve a really fundamental problem, we're trying to enable all this information we have in the world to be used to its full potential by doctors, by scientists, by researchers, and just change the way that medicine works. And that's our ultimate kind of moonshot dream, is to really enable that next version of medicine. That's just
that.
much
Curating the world's knowledge on drugs and medicine.
Yep.
To provide the best outcomes for human health. Love it, Mike.
Exactly.
Happening right here in Edmonton. Mike Wilson, Drugbank. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Been a great 5-minute Friday. Might have been a 10-minute Friday. I don't know who's counting anymore. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks, Mike. And hope to see you at TNT one day soon, Mike. We're there every Thursday.
Awesome.
All right. Take it easy, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.